Hello, everybody. Great to see so many familiar names on the lists, and wonderful that you've managed to organise your prac so quickly. I could see some of the people on the list are actually living in quite isolated places, so it's really good that you've managed to actually find another school over the school holidays and get yourself so organised. Those people I haven't met, welcome. I'm Kim. Um, I've been doing prac units for quite a while now, right through first, second, and third pracs in the postgraduate units. I think pracs are the best units. They're where you get to put all that theory into practice and see why these theories actually occurred, how to apply them, what you want to do with them, and how you can adjust them. And honestly, I find the thing that pracs really do is crystallize how those theories actually play out. What you learn theoretically in the other units, you often have an idea of how they're going to work. In reality, it's not until you actually put them into reality you see what really happens. And I love prac units. I love following people growing, and that's where I find students really grow, is during these units. It's where you learn so much. They can be terrifying, and they're not always perfect experiences, but even if you have a bad experience, you learn so much from it. You've really got to be able to take a step back, have some ways of relaxing and making sure you're looking after your own health through it, and not taking things personally, and being able to, I know, like bounce back, show resilience, develop, and really think about how you can improve your teaching practice. All teachers do that. So even now, I still have some really bad days in the classroom where I've just got to sit back and go, wow, what happened? And then analyze and work it out. And it's that problem solving aspect, I think, is one of the most exciting things about being a teacher. There's always a new problem to solve. Anyway, so I'll just get started. This is your second prac now, so you've got a bit of an idea on what to expect. It's a good idea at this point to maybe go through your portfolio from your first prac, or go through all of your experiences from your first prac. Just refresh it all in your mind and make sure you've got ideas. So things that you took to school, maybe things that you worked out by the end of the first prac were a really good idea to bring to school. Start getting your little pack ready for taking with you, of resources and everything. Thinking about what sort of things you're going to need to get off your mentor teacher, like timetables and things like that, classroom procedures, class lists, things and programs, so that you can start planning straight away. You know how classrooms work now, you know what schools are like. You may be going into another system, so maybe last time you were in a Steiner school or a Reggio school, and this time you're going into a government school, or vice versa, and that can be intimidating and a bit scary. But it's important you make contact with your mentor teacher and actually get an understanding of their goals, what they want to achieve with the children, how their classrooms work, and sort of think about if that's different in any way from the last classroom you were in. We've got our first collaborate on Wednesday the 14th of March at 7 p.m. So that will be a time when Amanda Duthie, who's our UC this semester, this TP, she will be going through all of the procedures and where to put the reports and what we're doing with all the equipment. You may have noticed those people who did their last portfolio in the portfolio communities. Portfolio communities is very sadly winding up. I think they had a bit of a funding problem there. And so we're going to be moving our stuff out of portfolio communities just into a Word doc. It's quite an easy process. I will step you through it. Please do not panic. I was very sad about the communities because it was fun building up the communities and being able to have all the groups communicating. I'll try and work out another way we can do that, maybe through a Padlet or something like that. Yeah, but at the moment you'll be just moving the portfolio into a Word doc and working from the Word doc to build your portfolio. and that should be fairly simple, but I will walk you through it. So please do not panic about that at all. It's all under control. Those people who haven't been out on prac for a while and maybe don't even have a portfolio, you do not have to worry about that. You'll be starting, and I'll show you how to work through and develop your portfolios as well. And you have the added bonus of getting to learn how to use Canvas. If you are a first-time Canvas user, can you put that into your welcome message so that I know that I might have to help you with some parts of it, or know why you're not understanding different parts of it and what we're doing. Also, if you haven't done a portfolio before, let me know that as well, because I'll know not to be looking for the different parts, for different standards we were covering in the last unit, in the first unit in your portfolio. So yeah, make sure, just take a note of that now. Put that when you do the welcome message, just mention that for me. That would be fantastic. A bit more about me. I've been teaching for a long time. I've worked in admin as a deputy principal. I've lectured at a few universities here in Perth, and I'm trying to currently finish my PhD on Minecraft and how children are participating globally in it. And that is about, and I've worked in a lot of consultancies working with administrations in how to develop reporting systems and how to develop learning technology systems within their school that work. Yeah, the Canvas this time, you'll notice every time at the moment you're using Canvas, there are slight little tweaks that everybody's made. This time, those people who've had me before will know that I do weekly videos. In the weekly videos, they're fairly short, but the idea is that they sort of wrap up things you need to watch out for, things you need to hand in, common elements I can see are happening amongst the group that might help you on your pracs, support in places where we've got a common thing happening that maybe needs some support and some discussion. It gives you a touch base, because I know sometimes you can get a bit lonely out on prac. You're lucky, because when I supervise the other pracs, the real life prac students, they have a lot more problems because they don't have this wonderful discussion board to come and vent and talk about and discuss what's going on in the classroom. You've got all your peers here to discuss and support and help and give you ideas and resources and everything else. This is a fantastic supportive way to do pracs. I think it's a really good way, and I'm hoping these videos make you feel like you've got someone there with you the whole time, because that's my role, is to be there to help you, to guide you through if you've got any sort of problems you need discussing, to work with you on that. Just one thing before you're even thinking of going on prac, it's really, really important, because I know it can be all-consuming, and people who are teachers are usually people who put their all in and want to do their very best, but you must look after you, number one. So often by the end of prac, and I know some of the first years have had, in their first pracs, have had this experience, you put so much into it in the first 2 weeks that by the third and fourth week you are sick. Because you haven't been exercising, you have not been eating properly, you've been drinking way too much coffee and not enough water. So it's really important to have things in place so that you are looking after yourself. You've got a way of organising your exercise, even though you are really busy. You've got a way of making sure you're maintaining your healthy eating, you're drinking enough water, you're not drinking too much coffee, and says I as I pick up my coffee cup. You're sleeping and looking after yourself. It's really important, because it's those last 2 weeks where you've got all the time in the classroom. And if you are not looking after yourself, then you're going to have a problem, because you'll collapse. And it makes it really hard. You'll lose your voice if you've been talking too much. And yeah, you know the drill. So just make sure you have that self care in place before you go on prac. That's something really important. Okay, when you get to your welcome post, which is where you're going to go first, it would be great to hear a little bit about you. I know about some of you, and even if I know you and I only just taught you a couple of TPs ago, it is really important that you introduce yourself thoroughly, because there are a lot of people in here you won't know. And you all need to know your backgrounds and where you're coming from. So mention where you're coming from, because I know we have some international people in this list as well. Mention where you're doing your prac, what sort of school it's at, what year level. Um, Also mention if there was anything like a goal that you set yourself in your last prac that you really, really want to achieve in this prac, or if there was something in your last prac that you tried and you really want to consolidate this prac. Make sure you're mentioning all of these things. Um, yeah. Then mention what you think is the biggest difficulty that you overcome. It might be perfectionism. It might be that you don't look after yourself. Something that you noticed in your last prac that you really should have done and you would love to do this time. Something in yourself that you think was holding you back just a little bit that you really want to work on. Because I find even things like keeping your desk tidy, I had that as one of my goals. Probably my 5th year out teaching was to keep my desk tidy. And so every day at the end of the day, I had to make sure everything was spotless and in its right place. And I couldn't believe the difference it made to my organisation and how I felt when I stepped into the classroom the next morning. So just things like that, something small that you'd really like to work on, and maybe something really interesting about you that nobody really knows about you. Maybe you've got a special hidden talent that you haven't told us about, or maybe you have done something really, really interesting in your life that we don't know about you yet, just so we can get an idea of everybody's personalities. Okay, well, oh, and my weekly videos. I won't be putting them all out as announcements this year. What I will be doing is putting them into my weekly talk. So there'll be a folder at the top of the discussion board. If you find the discussion board in Canvas, I will be putting them all in there. I will point that out to you in the first week, next week. And if you're having any trouble finding that, can you let me know? I know some people work from the whole unit and go through the module and then just go through the discussion there. They don't actually go through the discussion board part of Canvas. If you're new to Canvas, you won't know what I'm talking about. So it's important just to get in there first, have a look at Canvas, and then I will explain where these videos will be. But there will be a weekly video, just like I do all the time, because I find it much easier to discuss it and explain things than putting them down in dot points, and then there's less room for misinterpretation also, because I talk a lot with my hands and I can't do that in writing. Anyway, hopefully you're going to love this unit. I'm always here for you, and I'm happy to support you in any way I can. Okay, over to you. I can't wait to read your introductions. All right, guys, bye.